When Chicago Bears rookie Rome Odunze had to stand in front of a locker room of reporters and answer for his father's social media outbursts, it looked like standard sports drama. His dad wanted him traded. His dad wanted more targets. But if you look closer, you aren't seeing a family dispute, you're seeing a liability. In the high-stakes world of professional sports, treating your career like a family business is the fastest way to lose millions. To secure generational wealth, a modern athlete has to make a brutal transition, stop being the talented kid, and start being the CEO of a corporation. That often means firing the people you love most. The fundamental disconnect happens because sports is the only industry where we expect 20-year-olds to hand the keys of a multi-million-dollar enterprise to people with zero relevant experience. You wouldn't let your dad perform open-heart surgery just because he loves you, yet athletes routinely hand over contract negotiations and asset management to parents whose financial experience is limited to balancing a household checkbook. This is the trust trap. Athletes hand over control because they trust their family not to steal from them, but in doing so, they confuse integrity with competence. Your mother might be the most honest person on earth, but if she doesn't understand the intricacies of the salary cap or deferred compensation, she is going to cost you a fortune. The results of this mom-and-pop management style are statistically devastating. According to a Sports Illustrated report, 78% of NFL players face financial stress or bankruptcy within just 2 years of retirement. A massive contributor to this collapse is the lack of professional separation between the athlete's money and the family's access to it. When you turn your career into a family business, you remove the safeguards that exist in actual businesses. In a corporate setting, if a CFO makes a bad investment, they get fired. In a family setting, if your uncle sinks your signing bonus into a doomed restaurant venture, it gets discussed awkwardly at Thanksgiving, but nobody loses their job. This lack of professional distance destroys leverage during contract negotiations. Professional teams are ruthless, billion-dollar organizations designed to minimize player costs. When a parent negotiates a contract, they often take lowball offers personally, or conversely, anchor their demands to unrealistic numbers because they overvalue their child's talent emotionally. This creates a no zone of possible agreement, or NOPA, where deals die because the parent can't separate their pride from the market reality. A certified agent knows that a contract is just business. A parent thinks a low offer is an insult to their bloodline. Furthermore, family management breeds the yes man syndrome. It is incredibly difficult for a parent to look at the child who is suddenly the wealthiest person in the lineage and tell them no. Professional wealth managers are paid to be the bad guys, to tell an athlete they can't afford the third house or the fleet of cars. Family members, who often view the athlete's contract as a collective "we made it" moment, rarely challenge bad spending habits. Instead of a board of directors providing oversight, the athlete gets an echo chamber that validates every financial whim until the money runs out. But incompetence isn't the only risk. Sometimes the people closest to you are the ones opening the back door to fraud. You can see the devastating cost of amateur representation most clearly in the recent explosion of name, image, and likeness deals. Take the case of quarterback Jaden Rashada. This should have been the ultimate success story. A 4-star recruit landing a massive $13.85 million contract to play for the University of Florida. But the deal completely evaporated. Why? Because the structure of the agreement was fundamentally flawed. It relied on unsecured promises from boosters rather than ironclad escrow-backed guarantees that a professional sports attorney would have demanded. When you have family members or inexperienced advisors managing a deal of that magnitude, they often don't know how to vet the counterparty's liquidity. They see the big number on the paper and sign, not realizing that without the proper legal scaffolding, that number is just a fantasy. Rashada lost the deal, the money, and his spot at the university, all because the people in his corner didn't understand the mechanics of high-stakes contract law. But financial loss isn't the only risk. There is also the massive liability of brand damage. This brings us back to the Rome Odunze situation. When a parent goes online to criticize a team's play calling or demand a trade, they aren't just venting, they are actively depreciating the asset. In the NFL, a player is a corporation, and the team is the primary investor. When a parent creates public friction, they label that corporation as high maintenance. Sponsors like Nike or Gatorade are watching too. They pay millions for clean, controversy-free figures. If a player's camp is seen as volatile because a parent can't stay off X, formerly Twitter, the player loses leverage in endorsement negotiations. The parent thinks they are defending their child, but in reality they are burning equity. This bleeds into the pressure of lifestyle inflation. Family managers rarely act as a brake on spending because they often view the contract as a collective victory. The mindset shifts instantly to "we made it," which justifies immediate, heavy expenditures on depreciating assets like vehicles and real estate for the extended family. This is dangerous because it drains the athlete's liquidity right at the start of their career, which is the exact moment they should be compounding interest. Even worse, the CNBC report highlighting that 35% of athletes experience fraud or embezzlement notes that this theft often often comes from the inner circle. It's rarely a stranger in a ski mask. It's usually a cousin or a family friend who is given access to accounts without any third-party oversight. In the NIL Wild West, this is amplified. Unverified family advisors are getting outmaneuvered daily by sophisticated boosters and predatory agencies. They walk into negotiations with what experts call a no zone of possible agreement, or NOPA. A professional agent looks at the market comparables, what other players with similar stats are making, and anchors the negotiation there. A parent driven by love and bias anchors the negotiation at an emotional number that has no basis in reality. They might demand $20 million because they believe their son is the best in the world, while the market cap is $10 million. This doesn't result in a higher payday. It results in the team walking away entirely. The parent's inability to be objective creates a deadlock that kills the deal. Once you realize your dad can't negotiate a collective bargaining agreement, you have to make the hardest call of your life. The moment an athlete decides to professionalize their inner circle, they gain access to the most valuable tool in the sports business, the agent as shield. This strategy is essential for career longevity. In any negotiation, things get heated. If a parent is representing the player and the general manager says, "Your son isn't worth that money because his drop rate is too high," the parent takes it personally. Bridges get burned, relationships sour. But when a professional agent is in the room, they absorb that negativity. The agent fights the dirty battles over money, allowing the player to maintain a pure, positive relationship with the coach and the team. The agent takes the heat so the player can just play football. Beyond the emotional shield, there is the necessity of specific technical expertise. Modern contracts are governed by salary caps, luxury taxes, and complex collective bargaining agreements. You need someone who understands how to manipulate these numbers to creating value. Look at how Russell Wilson's team handled his 2019 negotiation. They didn't just ask for more money. They conducted deep market research on quarterback compensation trends and the Seahawks' specific salary cap constraints. They structured a deal that made him the highest paid player in the NFL at the time. But more importantly, they secured a no-trade clause. That kind of leverage doesn't come from asking nicely, it comes from mastering the fine print that family members simply don't know exists. This transition also introduces fiduciary duty. This is a legal obligation that certified agents and wealth managers have to act in your best interest. If a certified financial advisor steals your money or acts recklessly, they lose their license and can be sued for malpractice. If your brother manages your money and loses it on a bad crypto bet, you have no recourse other than never speaking to him again. Fiduciary duty creates a layer of accountability that love and loyalty cannot replicate. To truly operate like a CEO, the modern athlete builds a C-suite. This includes a certified agent for income, a wealth manager for asset growth, and a sports attorney for risk mitigation. This structure protects the family dynamic by removing money from the dinner table conversation. When the answer to "Can I have $50,000 for a business idea" changes from "No, I don't trust you" to "Talk to my business manager, he handles all investments," it saves relationships. It depersonalizes the rejection and keeps the family focused on family matters. The math on this is undeniable. Athletes often hesitate to pay the standard 3 to 5% commission to an agent, thinking they are saving money by keeping it in the house. But that 3% fee buys you market leverage, legal protection, and career longevity. Paying a professional 3% to secure a $100 million contract is infinitely smarter than paying a family member 0% to bungle a negotiation that leaves you with a fraction of your market value. The professional saves the other 95% from vanishing. Ultimately, loyalty doesn't pay the bills. Competence does. The most successful athletes realize that securing generational wealth requires separating personal love from ruthless business operations. You can love your parents deeply without letting them manage your portfolio or negotiate your contracts. If you want to master the hidden business mechanics behind the game, hit that subscribe button right now. It is time to stop acting like a talented kid and start operating like an athlete CEO.